motor vehicle travels to the coffee shop and maintains some coffee.
This is fancy.
All right, guys. Here
He
we are
maintains it.
at
Where were you
SUBCLE,
listening?
guys. SUBCLE going on.
Hey.
We actually have some. We got a little different lineup right now. So we got Steve in the shot over this way. And then,
Woo, Steve.
SUBCLE.
So I talked to my buddy Tripp, and I asked him if he would come on because he's got a very interesting career in the Cleveland subculture, you could say. And he was like, well, yeah, I'll do it, but I got to bring on my buddies.
Need some backup.
So I guess we're going to go around the horn. So this is Steve, and then we have, if I know how to work this thing, James.
Hey.
And then who? Nick? Over
Yep,
here?
Nick. Hello.
Yeah, and what do you do?
I am the lighting director at the Cleveland Agora.
Oh, very nice.
That's awesome. Ba-dum-bum.
That's a
Bum,
pretty
bum.
cool subculture thing in Cleveland.
Yeah, not bad. We get stuff here and there, different events.
So, and then we got, who else do we got over here?
Yo.
Work this thing.
He's getting right over there.
I like this guy. Shut up. I like him. He's my
Back.
favorite guy.
You seen I had beer? I thought he knew you. He followed me in.
There we go.
Yo, hey.
All right. And what do we got? Don?
Yep, my name's Don.
What do you do?
I've done a lot of myriad different jobs, but I've been a staple of the Kenton, Akron, and Cleveland scene, playing music and all that for 22 years now.
Well,
Yeah.
We were doing a little bit of talking, and it's, a lot of the same people I do.
Yep.
And,
I'm sorry.
yeah, I know. And you met Tripp a long time ago. So
Long
bringing
fucking
us to
time ago.
that, what's up with Tripp?
What is
Tell us about yourself. And speaking of that,
it?
Mike.
Sagittarius.
Not the dating game.
Yeah, what is there to say, man? Really, I'm a machinist now. That's what I'm doing today. Get up at 5 a.m., get home at 5 in the evening. So
That's a pretty Cleveland thing to do.
it's a very Cleveland thing to do. Pay my bills, pay the taxes.
That's actually not a very Cleveland thing to do.
No,
Pay your bills?
it's a sub-Cleveland. It's
Sub-Cleveland.
Subculture.
Yeah, that's a pretty mainstream paying your bills, right?
No. Actually, that's not a mainstream thing to do.
No? Why is that?
There's a lot of people that don't pay their bills.
Oh, well, yeah. Would you say that more people pay their bills than don't? What do you think the percentage is on that?
In Cleveland,
Yeah.
look at the roads.
Anywhere. Yeah.
I would say yes, the bills get paid, but do more people pay the bills using money that they earned or money that was given to them? And I would say that the majority of people in Cleveland probably get their bills subsidized in some way.
Do you
shape,
think
or
there's a
form.
place in the country where it goes the other way?
No.
Yeah,
Where?
where the majority of the people just work and pay
Where?
in your general middle class suburbs?
Name the place. Gentlemen, name a
Hudson.
city. Yeah, Hudson is. I love Hudson. But name a city.
Aurora.
Hudson Park Golf.
Right. Name a
is
fucking
amazing.
city.
Bainbridge.
Not a city. Not a
Solon.
city. Not a city.
Orange, Pepper
Not a
Pike.
city. Not a city.
Not a city.
Oh, city of.
Name a fucking
Oh.
city. That's every city. Like that's every city. That's just.
I didn't know. I
Columbus?
didn't know we were breaking it down technically like that.
I'm
I
not
would say
being technical. I'm
Columbus.
just like it's.
we went.
That became a semantic.
Seamus is another place. We're not arguing semantics. I'm arguing city. Like I'm not. Every city's like that, man. Like I get around. Like even the ones in
So
states
should we
that I
accept
like.
that?
I don't know.
Just
I
be
mean,
like, well, every city is like that.
Is it
so,
par for the
okay.
course? I mean, is it? You know what I mean? If we're gonna admit that, in order for this to work, we're gonna have to have haves and have-nots. Then I mean, you're gonna have places full of fucking have-nots, man. I mean,
Sure.
you know,
I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
I fully accept that those conditions are going to happen.
yeah, I mean, it sucks. You know
Yes,
what
it
I mean?
does.
Like, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been to rural areas that, believe me, we pay for everything. You know what I mean? Like the cities are paying for those places to exist. You know, just in the drive between here in New York City. You know, if you go the back way, like through parts of Pennsylvania, you are gonna go through some stifling poverty.
Oh yeah.
Like just some good old boys. You know, like wow. And I don't know the answer. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know the answer. Like this isn't. I'm not a guy. I don't know a whole
The
lot.
federal minimum wage is still $7.25.
Damn, they're getting that much?
I looked it up. $7.25 an hour.
But minimum wage.
If they could, they pay you less.
Now
Are they
there's
hiring?
39 states. 39 states have upped their wage from $7.25, but the federal minimum wage is still $7.25.
Yeah, but I believe like less than last time I heard it was 4% of people even make minimum wage. So 96% of the people make above minimum wage.
Yeah.
Minimum wage was never supposed to be a living wage.
Nope.
It was getting started. It's how you it's the jobs that you get while you're in high school, while you're just out of high
That's
school.
But don't you
disingenuous.
think
That's
in the
not true at
greatest
all.
country in the world?
That's not true at all. That's not.
Don't you think in the
folks,
greatest country in the world it
it's-
should be a living
sorry.
wage, though?
Yeah, it wasn't what it was found.
I mean,
with
I'm
it.
just that's I'm just.
Well, it
posing
depends
a
what you
question.
want to call a living wage because we're
You know-
we look at people that have like smartphones and Netflix and cable and all these things that you can X out of your life and bring your bills down.
Totally.
And if you want to look back at what they were paying for monthly in the 50s and 60s when a man could just go and support his family on his own, it was basically just your light bill, your gas bill, and your mortgage.
Right.
You really didn't even have to pay for insurance or car insurance or all these mandatory things that they charge you for now. So yeah, if those are the three bills you had to pay, you could do that now.
Yeah, and I mean, like what? Like 3 back alley abortions a year? Those were the good days, guys. Those are the good days.
Wow, talk about a topic jump.
Where they hit you with a sack of oranges to
Like when my great granddad.
so you don't
like,
I'm
bruise.
no longer in business.
Ain't that a kick in the head?
Like when my great granddad raped my great grandma, and there's my granddad. Relationship started the right way. Remember that, the good old days, guys? No, I hope that's not true. Like, I hope that would suck. Wouldn't that suck?
So
There's some definitive proof that your
In
grandparents.
the good old days when they killed Christ.
The good old days.
No, I like.
Pontius Pilate.
I should have had a disclosure at the beginning of this and say that, it was talked about that we were going to go into politics this time, even though
That wasn't
it's a
politics. Was that
subculture
politics?
thing, a little bit. So
No.
Sociopath.
might be
Yeah, thank you.
triggering
Yeah, see,
things.
we
The
were
views and
we
opinions
were
expressed
actually-
here are mine alone and do not represent AEG or its
Yeah.
sponsors.
And, and by the way, I'm always triggered. All the time.
Wake up triggered.
Trigger finger.
I wake up triggered.
You take poops triggered.
Trigger
poops are pretty awesome, though, I won't lie.
Trigger milkshake. Triggered sandwich. Triggered sausage.
I mean, honestly, the only thing that's got me triggered is the lack of snacks today. I want to point out that Vincent.
I think that's your fault because you were supposed to go to Cleveland Bagel.
I did go to Cleveland Bagel last week when we were supposed to do this, and they were delicious.
Wait, why didn't we do it again?
I don't remember.
Oh, I think you were moving.
That's your fault. We were ready to go at like 10 o'clock, but you're too tired because you're old.
I mean, to be fair, there's a gas station right across the street, and if we're gonna do Cleveland stuff, loading up on 99-cent or 2 for $1 snacks, pretty Cleveland thing to do.
Yeah, this is what we
Cleveland
got.
was
We got some Mad Dog 2020 here. Like
Got your dandy chips.
I would love to.
2 for $1.
I would take a sponsorship from Mad Dog. I love those guys.
Yeah.
Get some hot dogs and some stadium mustard.
When's the last time any of you guys even
Lips and
remember drinking that
assholes.
stuff? I don't
Yummy.
think.
What are they
18
called?
years old,
Hurricanes?
19 years
Yeah. I think like at 27, I was feeling nostalgic, and I had one, and I just
I
didn't.
can
stay-
still taste the vomit.
I couldn't keep it down. Yeah.
No,
it was,
the
it
last-
was an orange Jubilee.
The last podcast we did was we talked about MD, and we
Mad
even
Dog
looked it up,
2020.
and we had pictures of it, and we got all the flavors and everything. So.
I
I've heard
actually
stories
watched
about
that.
Yeah.
Mad Dog
Yeah.
2020. big.
Like last time was orange Jubilee.
Mag Dog
and
2020.
Where can you watch that, by the way, Vincent?
Oh, the podcast.
Not to be drank for
SUBCLE on YouTube. Go to YouTube, SUBCLE.
And the current temperature today is 81 degrees with calm winds from the west.
WNBC.
And a bunch of sweaty asses.
So, all right. So
No, it's gonna get progressively worse because there's all the body mass in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets hot in these rhinos.
What's the average weight of the men? About 200 pounds, right? We would average it out 210.
It's an average of like 22 BTU per body, I believe.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like that. Rumor has it.
Yeah. Well, good thing we have this air conditioner on.
Those are actually the most.
Hang in there, girl.
Those things are the most inefficient way to cool the room. They are horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be a better way?
Well, I don't know. To
Dry
have,
ice.
Natural air.
to have the hot parts not inside the room that you're trying to cool. You understand, right? That's how they work, right? Like it's
So you're talking about the motor on it, basically being.
well, the motor and the condenser that should be on the other side in the area that you're not trying to cool. Otherwise, it's fighting itself to cool the room. It's
Capiche.
yeah,
Dry ice, no condensers.
nice. Yeah, you should be. Why didn't you buy some dry ice? You cheap.
That'd be a nice effect,
Hey,
too.
come on, it's summertime. You mean tell me
Hey, look at
you
that.
get
Hey,
dry
look.
ice?
I was told this show had a budget.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I heard. Like
I-
Go anywhere in the summertime without dry ice.
they lured me into this place.
I require dry ice.
Like,
listen, put it on the rider.
I remember, like the first time I come do this, there's like bocatini and like some nice wine and some French bread.
Yeah.
You know, that's how he tricked me.
My dry ice that tastes like Red Bull.
Cheese and cracker spread. It's all
Yeah,
nice. Meats
yeah.
and cheeses.
You know what I mean? Like it's great. You know, like,
Chalice full of Four Loco.
Next time we get Trevor Love to
Trevor Love.
Ooh.
cook us
I
some
love Trevor.
Okay, so we all
yeah.
love Trevor here. That's
Yeah.
okay. We all agree on something. We all love Trevor Love.
I love that kid, man. Oh, he's so
Trey
nice.
Love, one of Cleveland's finest chefs. He's great, man.
Chefs
He's my
and
roommate.
bouncer.
I love that guy.
Oh, you actually live with
And
Trevor?
Cuban beans.
Oh, I did not know that.
He's not a
Holy shit!
gynecologist.
No, Trev's just a great.
I
human
fucking
being.
love that.
like
He's
some
a
of those
great-
flavors he's got going on at the Foundry are
He's
really
also
good.
good at like finding cheap
Like
ways to get
Dr.
shirts made. I
He's
keep
got like a
meaning to call
Bible's
him.
worth of flavors.
Seems to be connected that way, you know. Like you need a new band shirt, he's the guy. He knows the guy.
Yeah, he's a good artist.
Now, Trevor, when
Oh,
you
yeah,
start cooking with weed, I want a flavor named after me.
I gave him a recipe last week.
He's got that Dr. Pepper barbecue, I think. He's got some, like, there's he uses pops and stuff of, like, Mountain Dew and shit. He's very creative.
What is he working right now?
He's doing
as a
the
cook?
Foundry in
Where is the Foundry located?
the West End. The Foundry's on West 117th.
West 117. That's in Lakewood, Ohio,
is
right?
that
The Foundry.
Detroit.
It's on Detroit, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a
17th of Detroit.
That's awesome.
Lakewood,
So,
Ohio.
They have a
if you
good
want to
taco
support
night.
Trevor, you should go there. and
Ooh,
eat
taco
something.
night is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got wing night.
His burgers are to die
Burgers
for.
are awesome. man.
Slayer Burger.
Yeah, they have a Slayer
That was my favorite one. I don't know if he's still doing it or not. It's been a minute since I've been to the West Side.
His menu changes all the time.
Yeah. That's good.
It changes with the band that's there too. Every band gets a burger named after them.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
It's clever marketing.
That place is mostly like a metal band, right? Like a metal bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do a
Good
mix.
metal venue. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
Lisa
seen
Cavelli
rock-
owns it.
I've seen
She's a good
rock
girl.
bands.
She actually owns the Fantasy across the way, right?
Yep. She just bought
Yeah,
it.
Lisa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, she owns them both.
But she owns it, or they're doing the.
I don't know the details behind that.
I just.
I used to love the fantasy.
It's you know, like I know that it.
Gonna get you. Gonna get you.
They.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be
Bad
real
boys.
careful.
Bad boys.
Usually it's put that away or take it back to your car, not
Get
give
in
me
the
all
car
your
with
shit.
Dolph from the fantasy.
Yeah, I'm real sorry about that, man. I was going through a
No
tough time.
warning.
You know, I hope you
In the
liked
backstage.
It, you know.
Yes.
It was low on gas. Did you make it home?
I did. You know, then it was chippity chop the next day. Those converters, man. At the time, I was going through like a crystal meth phase.
It was a 79 Cutlass.
Yeah, the best.
Were there converters?
Wait.
It's-
What?
Crystal meth phase?
It's a joke, Steve. God, you ruined everything.
Chrysler.
Oh no, I wasn't listening.
I was going through a crystal meth
Directly.
phase.
Yeah,
Chrysler.
Yeah, we had 150 pounds back then.
it's great.
Your time.
5.
105, still alive. Crick, crick, crack.
Any other confessions?
No,
Ooh, got a lot of confessions. Not for here though.
Weren't you? You guys were over at Peabody's for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did Peabody's from late 2003, maybe early 2004, until the wheels fell off in 2013.
Well, the wheels didn't really fall off.
No,
did
we
they?
got
They
bought
just-
out.
Yeah.
The wheels got bought out from underneath us.
Right.
We came out to blocks.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a bummer because
We got a much better car now though.
But,
One wheel.
You think?
Yeah, I mean it doesn't have the like that CBGB type underground feel,
Right.
but the types of shows and the types of musicians and the types of crews we get have just gone up
People who work
exponentially.
there get paid.
but I mean, do you think
And
like
the pay and all the benefits that come along with that.
I never felt like that venue
Well,
was
the
a
Agora is doing
CBGB
great.
type underground place.
Chris is
What,
really cool,
Peabody's?
dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I just,
No, it always had that.
It was-
Peabody's. You ever
it
been to the
was-
bathroom, Peabody's?
Go to the bathroom.
the first show and the first band I ever fronted was when you guys were on Old River Road. Like I know Peabody's. Like yeah, like
Oh, that one, that Peabody's.
yeah.
That
like,
one was called Down Under, but it was street level.
Yeah, I know. It was
That's
great.
so weird.
But it was in the flats.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but you went up a
Right.
ramp when you came in, and then you went back down a ramp to get in. Once
Oh, you
passed-
went up and then down.
Yeah,
Right,
so you
right,
felt
right,
like you
right.
were actually
Yeah,
because you
going
went down.
into
But
it.
if you
Yeah.
walked, you were street level.
How far
Remember
was the
the
actual
inconvenience
incline and
pillars?
decline?
In the pit, you know what I mean? The inconvenient poles and that.
Which one? The old one or the new
old one.
Oh yeah, the ones with
That was,
tables that went around
like
them.
really poorly designed.
Oh yeah.
I remember we were playing our first show. Our guitarist, who I'm not gonna name because fuck him. Like, dude, he stood
Sorry,
behind
Mike.
the pole the whole fucking set. So like, here I am. I'm like 18, trying to have a personality for the first time, and the guitarist is like hiding. So I'm like all by myself. You know, and the bass player is like 15, and you know, lovely guy, one of my favorite people still. Mike Brake, he's 15, man. He's just trying to figure out the bass. Yeah, it was rough, man.
He had a pole to
man.
stand behind.
Yeah,
so
think
whatever.
those first gigs are the worst. My
Yeah.
band's first gig was at Fairview High School.
Would you play the Rain Show?
Yeah, for the Range show.
The Rape,
And,
Abuse, and Incest Network. That's the Rain Show, yeah.
Yeah,
I was at that show,
It
bro.
was terrible. We like
Wait, was
we choked
who
on
played that
stage,
show?
but I like it was
Who else played with you?
Dave Palucci was in that show.
Didn't STWB play that show?
Small Dick White Boys?
Yeah.
I think I remember that show.
Yeah.
Why am I not in that band?
Yeah, Short Dick White Boy played that show. Whatever the Conleys band was at the time played that show.
Yeah.
Remember their last band by the Conleys was what, the Paper Chase or the Paris Chase or something? The Paris Chase. You know, they very wisely had moved from pop punk to post-hardcore. It was that time. I would have done it too. Hey, listen, you know what I mean? Like, I have no grudge with anybody being timely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but has anybody played a Chinese restaurant or a bake sale?
I saw Zayo at a coffee shop in like Menor somewhere.
Played a sub shop once.
Did you play a sub shop?
Yeah.
Which one?
The Rockwood doesn't count.
Rockwood.
Oh, in that case, I played a sub shop. Yeah, okay. Rockwood Subs and Suds on Madison Avenue.
Yeah.
You're talking about Trip. You're talking about Studbowl's Disco Biscuit.
My old band from a few years
Yeah.
back. Yeah, we played a Chinese restaurant called Louis' Place. It's a very Chinese name.
Sounds amazing.
It was actually Rui's place.
Was it
Rui's place. You've been mispronouncing it this whole time, you racist.
Yeah, it's still spelled with an L.
I played a steakhouse
That's nice.
I would play
Chuck's.
Steakhouse.
Chuck's, where's
down
that?
in Akron.
I would totally play a fucking Steakhouse. Are you kidding me? Like, you guys, you don't understand, man. Like, listen, fucking over 40, I don't care anymore. I don't want to get famous. Listen.
Just want to get fed.
Listen, if I get a
Yeah,
fucking
right?
steak and like some béarnaise sauce on the side, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
steak
maybe
and
like a
béarnaise
couple
are
of
fine.
beers, I'm set, dude.
But you don't want the steak from
Bernays.
Chuck's
The
Steakhouse.
show's free, man.
Yeah.
Good now.
Like,
It's like
I'll make it
steak
work.
stacked on top of
Hell,
each other.
I don't even care, dude. I'll make it work. I don't
Sewn
give a
together.
shit. You know?
Chuck's is in a very sketchy side of town.
The guy who makes it wears the steakums as like a face mask,
Have you noticed there's no roadkill anywhere in that
He's like
neighborhood?
Leatherface.
like Leatherface with steakums.
Oh, that's great.
Steak 'em face.
Jerky face.
Steak 'em
Mr.
face
Jerky
Malone.
Face.
Look, I mean,
Zombie
dude,
McMuffin. Man,
I'm at that point in my life where, like, you know, like I haven't slept with a girl because I was in a band since, like, I was, like, what, in my mid-20s?
I'm
Like,
sorry.
that's... No.
It's okay, we don't judge here.
I really like women. I prefer to date women that don't give a shit about what I'm doing musically. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Oh, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell them you're in a band, or you're just gonna keep that a secret?
No, you know, they find out eventually, but
try to keep it.
they don't
I can see
care.
that being a
Time you're in a
movie,
band.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, they don't, you know what I mean? Like, look, for the most part, the ones that stay don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's like how do you explain going to practice all the time?
You know what I mean? Like,
What are you doing instead?
well, see, when I got married, what I did was I just stopped going to practice.
Cheating on her.
They'd rather you cheat on them than go to
I'm gonna go
practice.
bang my side piece. Really, you're just going to band practice?
And they're like, I thought you were going to band practice.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go fuck your side piece, go right ahead.
Go right ahead. That's some
No,
Black
like, I
Mirror
took,
shit.
We're polyamorous.
I took like 8 years off.
Or amorous, whatever.
She'd rather have you have a girlfriend than be in a band.
You know what, dude? I bet that won't exist.
Oh yeah, gotta.
She's out there.
Gotta.
Look, because one thing I learned after my divorce is that apparently polyamory is a big thing, and I'm very accepting of other people's polyamory.
He says it like he's at gunpoint.
No, I am. You know what I mean? Like it's like a weird thing, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
That's a weird thing.
it's like my life is like that stupid Weezer song. The world has turned. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know what's happening. It's like I got out of prison. You know what I mean? Like I'm all tattered up and jacked. I'm all yoked, ready to go, and I don't know what the hell's going on. Like what? Wait, what?
You've been in there for like 30 years.
Tin Doozle?
Cars
What am I
drive
doing?
themselves now. You're like, what?
I don't know.
Confused
I
by
think
the
this is
world.
a decent fantasy. You're getting out of jail. Like
making
you're
a
writing a
music
story.
video?
Bounce chicka wow wow.
It's like you got yourself frozen like Sylvester Stallone.
No,
Who's
it's,
writing a
Is it a
porno?
rap video?
Wesley Snipes.
yeah, because you don't, when you're married, you don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Like, you're vaguely aware of like the apps and all that stuff, but then you get out, and so I'm not allowed to talk to you without filling out an application on this application on my cellular phone that I can only fill out if we both happen to like each other. Right?
What are you talking about?
Dating sites, the dating apps.
Dating. So
Oh, yeah,
somebody went to prison before
Tinder.
dating apps were existent. So they had a whole different way of meeting people, and then they get out, and the only way to meet people is through these dating apps, and they go, I don't even know what this box in my hand is.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Why is there always money involved?
Yeah, that's right. Like, do you want to see? The phone's looking at me. My phone's all like, do you want to see who likes you, Jay?
Yes.
Everybody likes me, phone. Do they? My mom says they do.
Did you pay $5 to find
My
out?
mama said,
Fuck free college. Make that shit free.
For just $20, like, you will know if
rather do that.
if Susie and Struthers thinks you're not super ugly. And that sucks. It just sucks, man.
No, so yeah. Well,
Oh, the show has a host. Shit.
no host.
Vince,
But I did
how
want to
are
go.
you?
I did want to go back to.
He keeps trying to make me the
first
host.
shows.
He's
No,
like-
first shows. The first show I played, I was nervous as hell, and it was with Stubble's Disco Biscuit at Bullwinkle's.
Right across the street from Rui's place.
Yeah, 55th, I believe.
Yeah, 55th and Francis, to be
Yeah.
exact.
The old
Very
flop house.
Cleveland.
That is
Very
Cleveland as
Cleveland.
fuck.
I remember for like half of the first song, my leg was shaking, like, drastically. That place was packed.
When I get a chance to play it still happens to me too. The leg thing. Before you get up
Yeah.
there, you still have. Yeah, that too.
No. Yeah, bring the microphone.
Yeah, that's
dude.
American Sign Language.
It's like, your story sucks, man.
Wait, so Vinny,
No, bring the microphone to it.
Now, in this band, did you sing?
Yes.
Where did you keep the microphone when you sang?
yeah. Oh no, yeah, no, I know what he means, dude. Like the first band thing, the mic is like here, because you don't know what the fuck you're
This
doing.
is how I did it, man. How's it treating your levels right now? You know.
Like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're just
How's that treating your levels? That's the way I usually handle a microphone.
Cup in the mic.
you're like filleting the mic. You're getting your hands all over where you're not supposed to. Like you're getting fucking hepatitis B from the last asshole on the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're both blowing the mic.
No.
I love when a band would come up and they'd be like, "Oh my God, this mic smells like dick," and I'm just laughing in the back because, like, the sound guy, he's got mouthwash and a thing. He could totally clean those things every day, but they would go months
And
at
there is
Peabody's. It
nothing
was
wrong with
great.
knowing what dick smells like.
I would always bring my own.
Got me on that one, bud.
All right.
American.
Why? Yeah, why? I mean, why is there nothing wrong with?
Why is there something wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
But I was just curious.
Oh, you're
like,
so contrarian today, sir.
Be your
while you're
occupation.
defending dick sniffing.
I don't have this famous idea. I find it's a novel idea.
I mean, this is America. Sniff away.
$20 is
That's what you wanna do.
$20, you know.
Well, no, this
I had a
is
friend of mine. He was a dick sniffer.
but all those early shows.
I don't know. Dick sniffer. That's kind of like in the category of cuck porn.
Just somebody
Sniff it
walking up,
after it's done.
smelling penises and running away.
Wow.
Or being
Like
or
exposed
being a
penises?
dick
Yeah.
sniffer.
What is
A
that?
dick sniffer is like a connoisseur, like a coffee taster or beer tasting. Beer tasting, dick sniffing,
So like,
heirloom pickles.
so like
It's those people that smell wine.
No poo poo,
Yeah. They swirl around the dick and then they
Pinky out.
cup the balls a little bit.
like a penile sommelier.
There's a whole process. I don't claim to understand
All right.
it.
This whole entire thing was worth it for me.
We had to start
I
here to
came
get
all the way
here.
out to Maple Heights for.
I'm trying to drink this. Goddamn, I'm trying to drink this beer.
Well, we have a.
Where do you live?
I live in Brooklyn. I just moved there.
Like New York,
No, Brooklyn, Ohio.
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Jay and Steve just
Anywhere
moved
near
in
Archmere?
together.
Anywhere near Archmere?
Yes.
I used to live on Archmere, on the
Yeah,
far
we're
corner.
like
Yeah.
a block away.
There's it used to be called the Sports Inn on it's a bar tavern type place on the corner there of Archmere. There's a house next to it. That's the one I used
Oh,
to live in.
Archmere and so Old Brooklyn, right? Like
Old
over there on the
Brooklyn.
other side, yeah. Yeah, but it's
That's-
a block
that's way
over.
different.
We're like, it kind of is. No, but it kind of is.
Much older.
No, we just happen to live in New Brooklyn.
We live in Brooklyn.
was
Nobody
born
calls
first.
it New Brooklyn because that's crazy.
It's not in Brooklyn.
It's
It's in
current
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
I live in
would
the
be
city
insane.
of Brooklyn. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, New,
Central air conditioning.
live in New Brooklyn.
I like.
No
I like.
sleep
Brooklyn, Ohio.
Plus, I like being able to walk to the movies. That's nice.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right over by Ridge Park Square.
Yeah, right by
Yeah, like a
Ridge
block
Park.
and a half. Yeah.
Nice.
There's that Cuban place right over there.
They moved it because they heard about you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they heard you were trying to blow up the spot, and you know, like
It was one. It's one girl and
Yep.
her mother
Yep.
running that whole place.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, mostly her.
You
'Cause
did
they're-
them both?
that's what I heard.
Well, go
That's
in
not
there
what
and eat
happened.
and then respond back.
Okay. You see that, Vincent?
Food's really good.
Okay, yeah, the food's great, service is great.
What place is this?
They moved it.
Cuban spot.
Cafe Miami, I believe, is now on.
It was really cute because she it was like her. You walked into her like living room or something.
Yeah, she
you know,
does, like,
she had it
little arts.
decorated and there's like little knickknacks and stuff all over the place. It was really boutique-y, I guess is what they say.
I don't know. I went
Yeah,
there
it
for
was,
the
it was nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Cafe Miami, Cleveland.
yeah. It's but that was right on what State Road?
State,
Yeah, no cheating.
State
Yeah.
or Broadview?
It was
Have
on.
you been
well,
there?
I think
It's
state, yeah.
it's
I
on
remember
stage
seeing
now.
signs for it. Yeah.
yeah, it's on State now. It was on Broadview, right, Steve?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it started on Broadview. Now it's on State.
Okay, well, I've seen it on state. And that's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah,
know it.
that's the only place-
4517 State Road. That's the new
Yeah.
address.
Yeah.
I haven't gone. to
I've
the
never eaten there.
location
I
yet.
never stopped honoring the embargo.
Wow. That's some old timey shit.
Look at that. Everybody. Hold on. Are you in any part Irish at all, sir?
Ah, fuck if
Let's
I know.
pretend you are.
I got red in my beard. And
Let's
I
pretend
don't
you
know.
are.
sure, let's go with
Let's
it.
pretend you are. Every time one of you mix gets upset, you bring it right back to Kennedy. God damn it. There we go. I'll get back.
Speaking of Irish.
Yeah.
Vince,
Hey
why do
Jim,
we
are
have
you
this-
Irish?
Yeah, I got a little bit of Irish in me.
What's his name?
Kind of. You're going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I was going to say
Tell
thing.
more dude here.
Dark skin
Yeah,
really
I
throws
got
it
a
off.
bottle of Tullamore Dew, guys.
Hey, Tan's okay, yeah.
Guys, if anybody's interested, I do have a look over at Jim here, I guess. Bottle of Tullamore Dew and Elijah Craig.
Are you getting paid for these advertisements?
Yes, I get.
Capitalism.
Yeah, and am I getting paid for being on the show while you're getting paid for advertisements?
if anybody feels the need to crack that open there and maybe take a swig, that's cool too.
No, thank you.
It's all
This
right.
young gentleman has never had a drop in his life.
And today is on this podcast is his first time.
Very
No, it's
starring.
not.
No, I'm not drinking.
Well, you're surrounded on all
No,
sides.
no. If I drink, my liver will swell up, explode, and I'll die. I'm
No, don't die.
literally
But it'd make great
allergic.
video.
Shut up. No.
What if I don't believe you?
You're
I believe you.
Yeah, I have an
Nobody
inherited
just
blood-
says that
I have
shit.
an inherited blood disorder
Oh.
called
That sounds
thalassemia
horrible.
beta intermedia. It's a terminal blood disorder. I was supposed to die at 35, but
wow.
I'm here at 41 because
Baruch Hashem, brother. Yeah.
Hey man, welcome.
Holy shit.
So I attribute that to my straight edge lifestyle.
Nice.
So how are you supposed to laugh at that?
You
I
don't.
guess
Oh,
you
like
don't.
this.
You just figured out a way.
Don't even know how to die, you loser. You didn't die. Yes, you're like that. That's how you do it. Doesn't even know how to
I
fucking
got
die,
another
this
one
guy.
down, huh?
Fucking immortal, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever.
Well,
That's awesome,
what
man.
my dad was saying when he found out he was diabetic. His doctor told him, he's like, well, the good thing is it forces you to be like healthy. You know, it forces you to eat
Make
right
different
and do
choices.
the right thing. You know?
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
My
too.
dad was a diabetic.
Yeah.
A horrible, horrible diabetic. Average blood sugar of 300. Sometimes the machine would just say hi, not like hello.
Yeah.
Like way too high,
And not
which means it
this
was
high either.
over
But-
600.
But was he dieting and doing the right
No,
thing?
absolutely
I know.
And
not.
that's what I'm saying. It kind
So
of
it doesn't
forced-
force you to do it.
If you don't
if
do it,
if
right.
you're not gonna do it, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
If you're just like, well, fuck it, I'm done. You're done. And let me tell you, if when a diabetic says I'm done,
They're done.
that way is the longest and most grueling thing to go through.
bet,
Took his finger, took his leg, or took his toe, took his leg, and then he got gangrene in his other foot, and he was just like, he didn't tell anyone. He was like, this is how I'm gonna go. Kept his sock on, and then finally the blood infection, and that was it. He died.
Damn.
So diabetes does not force you, and I'm not as bad as him. I was diagnosed with MS.
Right.
Even crazier part was when the guy told me I had MS. He was like, "Well, according to our MRI, it looks like you've had it for at least 5 years. Would you like me to prescribe you an antidepressant?" I said, "What?" I said, "Do I look like I'm depressed to you?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why would you even ask me that?" No, but like, I couldn't
Yeah.
fathom it much more than that, other than the insult I felt because like
Right.
you're pushing your product on me at the moment like this.
Sure.
But it does like I still smoke and I still smoke,
Right.
you know, my pens and shit
Right.
like that. You know, I got my medical marijuana card and I use it for shakes, but I don't know. I don't know if it's as good as
Yeah.
medicine as everyone claims it is.
Yeah. You mean the marijuana?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but isn't it possible to? You can live like a pretty comfortable. I mean, it.
MS is totally on its own.
Right. Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's good.
Possible, but
and
yeah.
I have the good MS, the oxymoronic, relapsing, remitting.
See, now, I didn't want to insult diabetic people in any way, but my dad was able to drop. You know, my dad, he dropped a lot of weight. You know, and it scared him.
Oh yeah, no.
It scared
Most
him into
people
it.
it would. It was not insulting diabetes. I'm insulting my father,
Yeah,
who was
yeah.
like, you know what? Screw it. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the feeling that that's the road I would go down if it happened to me. Yeah.
It depends what age, you know. I mean, he had it when he was a kid, so he, you know, he was. And when I was born, he went from being a greaser biker guy to being a born again Christian, like that. Weird.
Oof. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, that's one of those things where people say like, well, I'm just gonna have a kid and I'll turn my life around. He did. The only person I've ever seen ever do that.
No, my brother's done that.
Really?
Okay, he went from like smoking way too much weed and delivering pizzas. He's 5 kids in. Like he just bought a house in North Carolina. He's
Nice.
just he's like a branch manager for Citibank in North Carolina. He just moved.
Well, yeah, I should say it's not the only example, but it's a
Yeah.
horrible way to plan on fixing yourself.
That's how he did it though. It was great. He knocked it out. I gotta admit, I'm
Sure.
very proud of him.
When it goes good, it goes good. But when it goes bad, now it goes bad for more.
Oh sure.
You're
No, so I
gonna
don't
have
have
to
any
take
kids,
it straight to the
because I
face.
Same.
feel like
Gotta take it to the face.
there would be severely broken people like me. I don't need
Pick your
that.
poison, sir.
When you get your hand on.
Yeah, I mean,
Tell
to
them
each
what
their
you-
own, but that's just that's just a bad way to go about
Yeah.
trying to correct your life.
I'll do one with
My
you.
life is horrible. I'm gonna add a kid to the picture. That'll definitely force me to get my shit straight.
Yeah, I don't want to
Ooh.
fuck. I don't want to fuck up another person because I'm fucked up. That seems weird.
Yeah,
Seems shitty.
That was kind of my logic why I didn't have kids.
yeah. I've never felt I was financially stable
Wait.
to have a kid.
Does anybody here have a kid? Well, besides Trip.
One that I know of.
Yeah, zero that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, Jared doesn't wear
Zero.
condoms almost ever, so we don't know about Jared.
Bullshit.
Is there any coincidence that we're sitting here all
I
talking to
wouldn't
each
know
other
that you don't.
and we don't have children?
Because I have not before.
Something true.
Yeah, so
Everybody
let's talk
knows.
about children.
This is a lot for me. I get laid.
No.
Okay, I was just curious
get
because you
laid,
brought
I
that up
just
pretty
smoke
quick.
on it.
Like you're either famous for it or he just knows you really well.
He's famous for it, dude.
Oh, come on. Stop it.
yeah,
What's
see?
going on?
Well,
You
he
see
is
that?
now.
Wait, what was going on over here?
Edit that out.
He said he doesn't wear condoms, and I was like, well, how does he know he doesn't wear condoms so quickly?
Oh,
Now-
dude, he was my roommate. There's never a condom wrapper in that house.
There you go.
Separate
There's the piece of the
Thanks,
puzzle
sir.
I was
I
missing.
know.
Thank you for the
Before
clarification.
stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, what are you, a dick sniffer?
I'm gonna fluff it.
I'm a
It's
penile
time to do that.
sommelier, sir. Penile sommelier.
That's what I do. I wait for people to take a drink and then.
Evil terrorist. Danny familiar.
That's the only reason- that's the only reason why.
Funny terrorist.
No, dude, that's what my viewers like. No, thank you. No, because fuck him. I don't want that coming out of my nose.
I had it come out my nose. It still burns.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It's
Like,
Listerine for the nose.
I'm not gonna get maced for
Listerine for the
200
nose?
dudes.
Cocaine?
No, Tullamore Dew.
Oh, that.
Smells like straight rubbing alcohol.
Probably tastes like it too.
Little Tully.
Should rub some of that on my toes.
So,
Always good. It's got a little sweet thing going on.
Yeah.
well, all Irish
vanilla?
whiskey is very sweet to me.
So is this something
Yeah,
like you
that's
said?
because
Trevor's
you're
your
old.
roommate now, right? So could we call Trevor and get confirmation from him about this whole no condom thing?
I mean,
Yeah, we're not
he,
done with this one.
he wants to
man.
know.
Because I want to know if he knew.
I wear condoms all the time. Thank you.
Can
Yeah.
we?
Yeah, but on your penis.
Where's
All the
me
time.
can?
Mostly, look,
Do you wear them on your penis?
Like, you know what I mean? Like, here's the deal. Like, you know, like you live, like you just sit in my room. There's like a bucket of condoms because I don't want kids. There's condoms everywhere. You know what I mean? Like my to-go bag, condoms. Because you never know, man. You never know.
You
This
go-
guy, this guy's
I'm at the
like
gas station bathroom all of
Yeah.
a sudden.
This guy's got like a condom from 1974, like a Rough
Bullshit.
Rider condom.
I have a fresh
At
bag of
the gas
condoms.
station.
A fresh condom
it's got
in my
a
leather
buffalo
jacket.
nickel on it.
See, I use a dish glove 5 times.
You call them a bitch glove?
No,
Dish glove.
Dish glove, you know?
You used the dish glove 5 times?
One, yeah. That's how you save money.
You guys are gross.
Tullamore Dew.
Oh my God.
Tullamore Dew. You guys are gross.
Hell of a product placement.
That's like one of those Bill Burr endorsements when he's like, "Oh, you fucking drink liquor, huh? You fucking want to get all shit-faced and beat your wife and drink shit? Nothing better than this fucking Elijah Craig small batch. You're gonna fucking beat your wife and get wasted. You won't even fucking remember it the next morning. It's telling you no hangover, but you won't remember beating your wife other than the black eye. So get some of this Elijah fucking Craig small batch.
I love Bill Burr.
Tullamore Dew. It's scentless.
It's
Yeah, I
No
love
calories.
Bill Burr. It's weird, I don't know.
No calories. Right. I am always kind of. It's unnerving that there's never any nutrition facts on liquor bottles.
Really? That's your concern.
Nutrition.
Because there's no
That's your
nutrition.
concern. Wow.
Because that's.
I've always thought there should be.
Yeah, how much of what
What?
is in there? Yeah.
what would it say?
Yeah.
Green.
Like it would tell you what kind of.
What,
Well,
it's
it'd
got
be
a lot of
some
col-
kind of like.
It's got a lot of cholesterol.
Serving size.
I
trans
might have
fat.
a nut reaction.
Cholesterol.
Elijah Craig, no trans fats.
Good to know.
I mean, come on. You know?
I mean, all you basically got to do is look up what alcohol is.
I don't know how many calories are in the, how many calories are in a bottle of Tullamore Dew.
But I want to know what dye number they use. You know, I want to know everything.
It would be nice.
Well,
Yeah,
technically,
I know what you're talking about.
well,
Listen,
bourbon
this is shit you
whiskey
need to
doesn't.
know.
It gets its color from the barrel.
Pure hips.
From the barrel.
Yeah,
They could say the barrel they aged it in.
yeah.
I mean, it's true
It looks.
that
It's
supposed to go in
vodka
the barrel,
basically before they age it.
but I'm sure they bump it up.
There's
Yeah, I
caramel
think so.
on
You know what I mean? I'm
stuff
sure they
in
bump
it.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending on the.
There's
No, they
nothing
don't.
in there. There's nothing
They
in
don't,
there that
dude.
they,
No,
come on.
they just.
They totally bump it up. I don't want to hear it. Look, listen, guy.
Hey,
over
Dad.
there, working
Hey,
for
Anybody
the big,
watching
the
or
big
listening
whiskey
to this
lobby.
knows better.
Working for the big whiskey lobby, trying to tell me how to live my life as a goddamn American. All right? You need to shut the fuck up with your big whiskey lobby cock loving fucking slurping on that whiskey lobby cock, just going.
Yeah. And then giving it a sniff.
Was that cock sniffing beatboxing?
Yeah, it's the cock sniffing beatboxing. That's right.
Do you do that while you're sniffing the cock, or
No,
just next to the person
Will that
sniffing
be
the
on
cock?
the
yeah,
green
next to the
screen
person.
That's a
behind
service you could offer. You could get money for
I
that.
offer beatboxing to many people.
This is bullshit. These guys probably have like
Get some cock
like
sniffing
an
on the green
apocalypse of
screen.
boobs behind them. We got a drum set. Some bullshit.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, like
Treat us nice back here.
you guys are like in the
We
belly
got
of like a
we got like
serpent.
Godzilla, and you got,
And
you
I'm in
got
the
the Bill
basement.
of Rights.
I'm right by a
Fuck
pole.
yourself.
I've got cock sniffing going on behind me. Just snorting lines of coke off people's dicks. And just,
America.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, like the penis has a tattoo of the American flag on it, and somebody just doing a rail off of it.
Eagle sound.
While doing this,
That's terrific.
So how many stars does it have it on it when it's soft?
If you were to get a dick tattoo, do they do that when it's hard or when it's soft?
Oh man,
It's
I
gotta
don't
be
know.
hard, right?
I
mean,
would say
How do you
I would
keep
say
it hard if you?
I'm ready for a
I don't know,
tattoo,
take-
boys.
Maybe, here's a question. Here's a serious question.
Well, no, right,
Do
you
you
have to
pop
tie it
Viagra
Yeah, I think
getting a
I
dick
would.
tattoo?
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
yeah,
I'd imagine if it has to be hard,
You'd have to tie it
then
up.
something like that would be,
Yeah, that's what you
performance
gotta
enhancement
do.
drugs.
I have a
Can
buddy.
you even get a tattoo on your dick?
Yeah,
Smack
I have a
my
buddy
hammer.
called. His name's Mike Rizzuto. He's a
idea.
tour guitarist for the Bunny the Bear, and he just got a dick tattoo.
A dick tattoo.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What I'm concerned with is the scrotum tattoo, because do you stretch it
Of
out?
course you have to, right?
I
You
don't
have
know
to.
what you would.
You could tattoo a Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Scrotum's easy because if you can pin it, if you can stretch it and pin it, it's easy. But keeping a dick between flaccid and hard is like that's skill.
Yeah,
Stretch it and
porn
pin
star
it.
status.
I know. Do you need like Botox?
You need to bring a fluffer with you
How does Anthony Weiner do it?
via email or text message, I believe.
To underage girls.
Yes.
Well. His name is Wiener.
Sure, got to live up to your name.
There's one reason the other day, like I
That
discovered
was perfect. Yeah.
that there's different
I don't
types
know an Anthony Weiner.
of being into kids. Like a pedophile, right, is someone who's in the children before adolescence, right?
Craig this time?
But after adolescence, there's two different kinds of things to be. Isn't that weird?
Well, you're gonna have to just keep going.
So I know what you're
What
saying,
are you
but I
talking?
don't know
I get,
You're gonna have
the
to
name what you're
repeat
talking
that,
about.
like,
I get the
3,000
premise,
times.
but I want to
Yeah,
know
like a
what it.
pedophile, right, is into prepubescent children,
What
right?
does the age of pedophile and pedophilia end?
Well, I would imagine when the legal whatever your state's
Yeah,
law
but
is.
16, yeah.
No,
So
no, no.
16
It's
is
your
Age of
state's.
consent.
age of
Yeah,
consent.
well, that's different.
That's good to know.
I don't even know why you're asking this question.
This is like the
Yeah, where did this? I'm,
I'm good.
You can find us at
You brought up Anthony Weiner.
we.
You brought up Anthony Weiner, right? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the
Because-
underage chicks, but
Yeah,
those
because
were.
I mean, the reality is that this country sexualizes 14-year-old girls all the time. We've been doing it for
Oh yeah,
Look at
no.
modeling.
yeah. Modeling
Well,
is all
Teen dance
is
moms.
all European fucking shitty dudes jerking off on 14-year-old girls from Wisconsin. But anyway,
Well, but like you take it to like
So what did you do Sunday?
But you take it to like 120 years ago. It was perfectly okay.
Grow your
Married
own.
like a 14-year-old.
Yeah, a 12.
yeah.
As soon as they're like hitting puberty, as long as they're fertile, which
Well,
biologically
Allah did
speaking,
it at
like,
nine.
No, dude. It's just the way
Muhammad
you
did
said
it.
fertile.
Or,
Muhammad, sorry,
you guys
Muhammad
know
did it
Vince
at
is
nine.
putting a time
or do you
machine,
like
right?
Woody Allen and
Vince, you
adopt
can't
your
dig in
own?
a ditch
Yeah.
here. Dig
What was her
yourself
name?
a ditch.
Aaliyah, I believe. Aaliyah, yeah.
I'm
I
just
would
saying.
say you're digging a ditch.
I'm just
Better be
saying.
worth digging.
Listen,
We are digging a ditch. Water table's pretty high right now too.
Yeah, that ground's saturated.
Yeah.
but it was acceptable. I'm not saying it was okay. I'm just saying it was
You know what was also
The
acceptable
good
in
old
those times?
days, right?
Shooting chain and all kinds of things to gay people. You could do all kinds of stuff back then, including marry a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Glad we don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yeah.
unless you're not in the United States of
Didn't sound
America,
genuine at
or
all.
you have a lot of money and you can maneuver some things like birth certificates and things of that nature.
What?
People do anything with money these days.
So I hear.
You were wondering
I
who
never had
Anthony.
enough to do anything with. I
You were
wouldn't know.
wondering who Anthony
Me
Weiner
either,
was.
so.
Anthony Weiner was like a Congress.
Oh, we're back to him.
Yeah.
But he was married to Huma Abedin, which was an aide to Hillary Clinton.
Hillary.
And then there was all kinds of
But even
Stuff.
even before all that, like and then he started like
yeah
sending dick pics and shit like that.
to
Now,
like
here's my-
underage girls. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes,
the
it
girls that
But
he
it
was
was
sending,
to like an underage girl or something. Is
Yeah,
that what it
yeah,
was?
yeah.
a couple of them.
But
Couple.
he's married and has kids.
Yeah,
also.
and James Franco. Well, let's not talk about morality in this day and age.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'm no saint.
right, but James Franco, it did something. The girl was like 17 or something like that,
That's age of consent.
and it was even in another country too. So
It's 16 in Europe.
but now
well,
he's
the
being
whole-
shamed like for that. I don't know what. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he does
I
all
don't even
sorts
know.
of.
Did he
other
know he
shit.
was even? I don't know.
Roman
I don't know
Polanski,
anything
how
about
old
it.
I mean,
honestly.
was she hot?
Roman Polanski, she was 14.
I don't know.
14.
You know what the leading cause of
Polanski's.
pedophilia is, right?
Uh,
Sexy kids.
yeah.
Well, dude, I found it, by the way. Okay, right?
Hey, everybody, how you
If
doing?
your primary
All right.
sexual
Okay.
interest
Sub-CLE.
in mid to late
Wait,
adolescence,
Sub-CLE.
ages 15 to 19,
19.
ephebophilia. Because, dude, you're an adolescent till you're 25. You know what I mean? But
Well, mentally, you're fucking not an
yeah,
adult till you're like almost 30.
25. Yeah, it's like crazy. But yeah, no, it's ephebophilia.
Yeah, come on.
You expect him to know Latin?
I don't speak
Apparently,
It's a big one.
Now, here's a question: if your brain, if you're not really
Ephebophilia.
fully developed
So I
until
think
you're
right?
Ephebophilia.
between like roughly say 25
I
and
got a
30,
fever for ophelia.
and the life expectancy years and years and years and years ago was basically 25 or 30, was it basically kids that
Yes.
created us?
But
Or were they maturing faster back then and becoming more
No, no,
adult
no.
because of the situations they were in?
I think there was a
Dude,
time.
think about it, man. We have to convince people to go to war with blunt fucking pieces of metal. You know what I mean? Yeah, kids. I mean, you're not going to talk me into it. You're not going to talk me into that's the Lith and J.
no,
Actually-
I'm talking further back.
Oh, further
than
Okay,
back.
that.
so
Yeah.
wait. I have two things to say about this. First of all, I was talking to a recruiting agent or a recruiting officer or whatever over at where you worked
Where are they recruiting
at
you
the bar.
from? Like,
No. And I told him, I was like, oh, I'm too old. He's like, well, if you're 21, you're
Look at
too
you,
old.
you
We
look
can't convince any
He looks like-
21-year-olds to join.
He looks like the man.
We got to get them young. When they,
Naive.
yeah.
Hopeful, bright-eyed.
Yeah, and then, but not only that, so the life,
16. I almost
so the
went.
life expectancy of people like, say in ancient Roman times, I mean, they lived to like about now 80, 100 years old, really. I mean, and it wasn't until like the, the 14th, 15th, the Dark Ages kind of, and there was a lot, like the water was dirty because there was
We
so much
threw away all the
population, and
There
you know
was
what I
also
mean?
the plague.
You're still
Right,
stopping
right.
short. I'm talking about before civilizations really were a thing, when your actual life expectancy was probably 25 or 30 because you were dying from
So, like-
disease or
Well,
predators.
that's what I'm
or-
saying.
Before Sumerian.
Oh, like
pretty
even
much.
like even pre-civilization.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
so
it's
like-
like Fred Flintstone time.
So please,
Well, maybe a little bit between then and then.
Okay.
from his penis.
But Fred Flintstone's
Maybe
like
after we
Fred-
discovered fire.
The
Sort of a
shorter
deal.
the penis, the whiter the spray.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's great. It's
Still nomadic
the oldest
tribes.
creation. You can't beat that one.
Yeah.
Have fun editing
So
that
were they
shit.
like children, or were they just more mature then?
Hunting.
But what about
I feel like they were more.
Let's reel it in, guys. Let's reel it in.
Those are natural skills, It's natural skills to hunt. It's natural skills to like figure out how you're gonna eat.
It's not a natural skill. It's a natural drive.
A drive. You
Skills are
wanna
developed.
Eat, you're hungry, so you figure it out. You're thirsty. You need to drink water. You figure it out. And that's the evolution.
But
of
things are so different now.
humanity.
Like now, you want to drink water, you just go to a tap. Back then, you had to make sure you drank from the right puddle that wasn't super stagnant water or something. Like
Right.
You had to sanitize the water. That's where fire comes in.
but it didn't come in right away.
Yeah.
Like the
And they
wheel,
just really know.
Civilization didn't
Dude.
come in.
yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Like, dude, the wheel came way after fire. Like really long, way later than it should have.
Like 15 days?
Like it was like it's something
So,
stupid.
so what did they
Like,
have before the wheel?
They didn't. They had the sledge.
Well,
The sledge.
sledge.
isn't there like evidence now that there was a civilization that was wiped out way before, but they were way advanced. But then they were wiped out, and then everything kind of reset, and that's why we come up with like, I don't know, what is it, 10 to 12,000?
Sort of like where we're headed.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're going to wipe ourselves out, and then whatever's
That's when
left
the
will,
aliens came down.
and it'll start from whatever we had here left behind.
Yeah,
like if you
We're
Yeah,
basically
pretty much.
a country in the shackles of oil.
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
That should be a bumper sticker.
You dirty
Well-
fucking hippie.
But you're
well, they-
talking. I was gonna say you were talking about an advanced civilization. Like,
Yeah.
If you know anything about archaeology and stuff, there was a mechanism that they found in the Mediterranean
That's right.
called the Antikythera mechanism. It was a
That's why I handed the phone to him.
it is. It tracks the movements of the moon and the stars,
that's right.
and it's still like they've recreated it,
Right,
and it's the most one of the most precise
right.
instruments ever created, and it was like fossilized
So,
when they found
right.
it. Yeah.
No, and I know of this, and what makes me think of that is, well, they didn't have television,
Yeah.
and they didn't have lights, they didn't have electricity, so everybody almost knew the movement of the stars because that's what you
The
watch.
ones, yeah, the ones. Yeah.
That's what you're watching.
That was
all
your
the
cable
fucking
TV
time.
back
But
then.
why do you pick out? But why do you pick out certain ones?
Well, you see the move. They saw the
Planet
movement
Apes.
of them, and you can kind of deduce and do the math, and that's why they figured out math and calculus and all
And
that
physics.
shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like,
Physica.
but yeah, but you were forced to do it. Now we are all of us are brainwashed. You know what I mean?
agree.
By media.
To a
You know what I
degree,
mean? And it's. We're not paying attention to the things that we should. We're paying attention to the things that are told to us.
Sure, plus light
You know what I
pollution.
mean? So, what's
Well,
that?
Plus light pollution. Can't really see the
Well,
stars like
yeah,
you could
that
back
too,
then.
yeah.
But we're also standing on the shoulders of giants. We have the access to all this information that only the
All of it,
elites,
ever, right here.
only the elites had
Regulated.
access to. We have access to on our smartphones.
Right.
So we can, if we choose, we can be the most advanced civilization ever, which we already are. But we could even we
Well,
can
that we
can-
know of.
Yeah, I'll go
Okay.
with that.
we could be even further ahead, but we don't choose that. A lot of us are wasting our potential.
Well, I would argue that is probably because we're
Wrong eggs, wrong baskets.
well, no, I think everyone's driven. They're selfish. You know what I mean? You're driven by your own personal gain, and which is fine. You should look after number one first. But then once number one's taken care of, you take care of the people around you. You know what I mean? And that's why I believe in a more
But I mean-
localized
Sure, but I mean, what does that mean?
social network. What's
So
that?
how do you feel about America first?
I think it's too big. I think it's too big.
Well, what's
How about America first?
Well, but it's coming from the person that's
It's
in
too
charge
big.
of it. So, like, he would say the thing. Basically, what he's saying is the thing I'm in charge of first, which any boss should be.
Yeah.
Any company owner, anything like that, anyone in charge of something should be the thing that I'm in charge of first. You're a parent, my kids first, or me first.
Right.
But you keep it real close, and that's the thing he's in charge
I
of.
agree, but that's why I also said that I think you take care of you. Yeah, you make sure your unit. Nobody knows your local unit better than you know your local unit. You know,
Sure.
Nobody knows. So
I
you
know
take
my
care of
unit
that.
really well.
But once that's taken care of, and I think that whether or not you want to call it any political system or any socialized system, whatever you want to call it, whatever word you want to put on it,
right there.
whatever word you want to put on it, it's gonna be, and then you divide yourself from somebody else. It's gonna be, what am I trying to say? you're not gonna. Okay, you take care of number one. Okay, you take care of yourself. But once you take care of yourself, you know, and I hate to say it because I'm not a religious guy at all, but you know, love your neighbor. You know what I mean? Don't.
Well, sure. As long as your neighbor's not a total dick.
If your neighbor's trying to kill you, yeah, that sucks. Because they're not living
Love
the way
your
they
neighbor
should.
as long as they're not a dick.
Yeah, yeah.
If your neighbor lets their dog shit in my yard and doesn't clean it up, fuck my neighbor. I'm going to the next neighbor.
Right.
I'll make them banana bread.
Yeah. And that's
Pick
true.
up your poop, though, man.
And that's the problem, you know. So, but the thing is, if everyone lived in a utopian, you know,
Pick up
whatever.
your poop.
But that's never going to happen. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, once you take care of yourself, then you take care of others. You know, and it's also I do believe in that the Buddhist philosophy, where if you can't help somebody, at least don't hurt them.
Sure.
You
No,
know
yeah,
what I mean?
totally.
And I just kind of live like that. So I think, yeah, we should. I think we should be localized, and we kind of are by city, state.
It's
county.
still too big.
It should move. It should move like that. But I don't think.
You could bring it down to
Right
block,
now.
and it would still be too big.
Right now you have.
I don't know, man.
So you have right now you have two different things. You have, oh, let's grow my business as big as possible, right? That's okay,
Well, that's your goal if you're starting a business.
right? That's your. And then I can be statewide, then countrywide, then worldwide. Well, that's globalism in your own company. You know what I mean? It's too big. It should be localized. There should be local, independent things. You know what I mean? Because like I'm just following that logic. Like you said, you should take care of the smaller local area. Well, companies should do this. They shouldn't get too big.
Well, here's the thing. Like, who is responsible for making Walmart as big as they are? Walmart or us?
The consumers.
Consumer. Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
So we did it.
Well, it's
We have no government to blame.
it's them
no-
being able to go into markets where the labor is super cheap,
Well, they
so that they
created
can
those
charge.
markets. I mean,
Right. They
Smart enough, you can do
created
the same thing.
You know,
Right.
Sam Walton.
You can say that's smart enough, or that's selfish enough.
Look,
You
Sam
know what I
Walton
mean?
opened up a Five and Dime in bumfuck Arkansas, and you know, like
Bentonville or
something
something.
goes into that. But don't get me wrong, you know, like Sam Walton's the kind of guy, like he's the guy that understood that. You know what I mean?
That
Like,
niche market.
yeah, well, he's the kind of guy who understood that the roads that built his business
Well,
paid for by us.
Let me spin the question back around again. We know Walmart treats their employees like shit. We know that they hire part-time employees rather than full-time employees. We know that they employ
Everybody's done
slave
that
labor,
since the history
and
of
we still
corporations.
shop there.
Well, I don't.
I do. I totally
I
do.
don't.
Enough people still shop there that they don't give a fuck if you don't.
Oh, I agree.
You know?
They're able to do it. Yeah,
Like I
and
show
that's
up in
where
some stirrup pants.
that's where you can argue: should that be allowed or shouldn't that be allowed? If it's allowed, then that's cool. Then we are moving towards that. You know, now we're moving towards that. Hey, we're going to kill ourselves off.
Well,
You know what I mean?
That's what
So it's how do you mitigate that?
you have to get people to wake the hell up and act.
The suicide rate is high.
But there's so many woke people today. Everybody's woke.
Very high.
My buddy that was the lead singer of this band, he just killed himself earlier this month,
I'm
and
so sorry to hear that.
so yeah, suicide is.
Rest in peace.
My mom failed twice. Tried twice, failed twice.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
Well, I mean, if you just pull the camera far back enough, like me, you realize that eventually the sun's going to die and none of this means anything.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right.
Not in my lifetime though. I'm
Yeah.
going out with a bag.
Yeah. Well, I'm going out with a bag too. Like, what's legal age again?
Yeah, they can-
7'6". It's gonna be a room
She
full
can
of
all
like,
bang.
it's gonna be a room full of Southeast Asian professional ladies, and you know, some powder that may or may not be legal at the time. Like, I'm just hoping my heart explodes.
So
Well, that's happening.
You'll sniff so hard that your heart will explode.
Pretty
Back
much.
to the dick sniffing.
That's a big dick.
Those Taiwanese women.
He really loves.
I see. I
And
didn't say
exhale
Taiwanese.
twice
Oh, sorry,
and
I
suck
thought
Oh
it
my
in.
God! You racist!
Well, I didn't.
I said Southeast Asian.
I'm sorry, I'm high. In my
It was
head.
the Mona Lisa.
It's a good thing I got the call
Mona
like I
Lisa
was
of
Nice.
I'm-
penis sniffing.
Somebody give me a bagel.
Things are coming around full circle this episode, I see.
And that being said, let's take a quick.
By the way, I don't mean that.
We're gonna come back
It's like
in a
my
minute,
favorite
guys.
thing to do is to yell at him.
Who's got a piss?